Hi guys, what's up? I'm Mary Richardson, Rapid Transformational Therapy Practitioner. I help people move forward when they find that they're stuck, not achieving their goals, not able to move forward. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're stuck in procrastination, low self-esteem, self-doubt. Maybe you're stuck trying to heal from that past narcissistic relationship. Maybe you're caught up in loads of anxiety. If that's you, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to talk about why is it so hard to move forward after a narcissistic relationship. There's something called a trauma bond. You've probably heard this before. Trauma bonding is where we feel bound to the person or people who are causing a lot of trauma in our lives. I think that, my opinion is that it's easier to form that trauma bond when we've had trauma as a child. If you've had a narcissistic parent, kids look to their parents for survival, right? And not just physical, but emotional survival as well. They want to please their parents because they want to get praise and encouragement and love, and they work so hard for it. But with a narcissist, nothing you do is ever good enough, but yet you feel like if you just give that narcissistic parent everything they want, that you will get a few scraps of love or attention or encouragement or praise. And you've learned as a child, if that was you, you probably have developed phenomenal coping skills where you can survive on very little encouragement, where just the scraps that the parent threw you of encouragement or praise, you learn to make that go a long way. What happens is, as an adult, we often get into relationships where we get those few scraps of encouragement, praise, nothing like what we deserve. We deserve so much better and so much more, and equality where I encourage you, you encourage me, and it's not always 50-50, but you get so much more because that person's really rooting for you, really wanting you to succeed and do well. But if you're coming from a narcissistic past, what happens is, as an adult, we form these trauma bonds with someone who is taking and taking and taking from us, taking our energy, taking our encouragement, without giving us very much of anything. That's one thing narcissists do. Is if you've ever talked to a narcissist, if you think you're with a narcissist, or you think maybe your ex was a narcissist, if you look back, and there's so many red flags, and you can pick up those red flags, and once you pick up the red flags, you'll see red flags all over the place. For instance, one thing they do, they're all about control and controlling you, controlling what your emotions are, how you think, how you feel. Narcissists, I've noticed, and this was a revelation I recently had, narcissists, if you listen to them, they don't really listen to you. It's different from, it's not like attention deficit where they're just listening, waiting for their turn to talk, where they, attention deficit where we're, we're trying to stay focused. It's not the focus. A narcissist doesn't really listen to us because they are going to pull out all these things to totally invalidate anything you say. So no matter what you tell the narcissist, unless it's about them and how great they are, anything else, they automatically will go to invalidation. What that means is, if you try to talk to a narcissist about something that's important to you, that does not concern them, in other words, they're not going to get the credit. Maybe you're wanting to go back to school, maybe you're wanting to start your own business, and it doesn't include them. This is just something you want to do for you. The narcissist, their number one go-to is invalidation. So they will tell you how hard it's going to be. Once they realize it doesn't involve them, they'll tell you how hard it's going to be, how you're not very good at doing these type of things. They won't tell you that you're more than capable of learning new things and doing these things, and you've been through difficult things before. All the good things that normal people would tell you and encourage you with. Narcissists will try to invalidate you. And what happens is the narcissist is so withholding of their praise and encouragement that the trauma bond is formed, because when you need encouragement, you tend to, and we and me and anybody who's been in a trauma bond, we realize, oh, we have to give more to the narcissist. We have to do more. We have to encourage them more. We have to keep the, household running, or whatever it is for you. We have to do more in order to get any small thing from them. Narcissists also, if you've noticed, they will often, as you're talking to them, walk away. You're wanting them to really hear something you said. They will literally walk away and expect you to keep talking and walking and talking louder and louder as they walk away. Like, you want to be heard, it's important to you. And the narcissist will keep walking away as if, I'm not interested, it doesn't concern me, I don't care about you. And so you may talk louder, follow them, try and get them to really hear you, and they just don't. They're not interested. But this trauma bond is so strong because everybody needs encouragement. And where we get stuck in the trauma bond is when we stop validating ourselves. In other words, we are looking outside of ourselves for validation. So we want others to, of course, encourage us, and we all need that, of course. But the better way to do that is to give yourself the validation and tell yourself good things. I've been through difficult things before. I can do this. I can work towards my goals, whether or not anybody's cheering me on. And when you start cheering yourself on, you will find it easier and easier to move forward after that narcissistic relationship ends. Because the reason it's hard is because you're still hoping that that person will be the person you want them to be for you. You're still hoping that the relationship, the way you thought it was, the way you wanted it to be, and we've all been there, I hear you, the way we wanted it to be, we hope that that it can actually be that way. We hope that they'll change. We hope that the relationship will be better if we just give more, do more. And what happens is we blame ourselves, often condemning ourselves, judging ourselves, feeling bad about ourselves that we're even in this relationship that never was designed to work. With a narcissist, it's very difficult to even make a relationship like that work, because you get nothing from them. They're just all take. And the few scraps they throw at you, they expect you to give more back to them. That's how they think a relationship should work. Oh, you'll give me more if I just throw this little compliment your way. So trauma bonding, you can break it by really, really make a conscious effort to encourage yourself all through the day, every day. And start forgiving yourself, or whatever word you want to use. Stop condemning yourself, feeling bad about ever being in a relationship with someone who didn't really care about you. It's not a reflection on your worth or your value. It feels like it is. It feels like, oh, I made this wrong judgment, got in this relationship, didn't come out right, now this person moved on and they're happy, but I'm stuck feeling like I'm not feeling good about myself. And start working on yourself and stop looking to other people to make you feel good. That's like the basic step one. And you can do this right now. List out 10 things great about yourself. Do that every day. Compliment yourself internally. Talk to yourself. I did that really well. I'm always whatever it is for you, find good things to tell yourself and stop looking to someone else to validate you. Because even if you're in a fabulous relationship, it's still not the other person's responsibility to validate you. That's something you need to get from yourself, and that's a skill that you might not have developed as a child if you were in a toxic situation as a child, went through trauma, drama, narcissistic parents, addictions, whatever it was that you experienced as a child. You may not have developed the skill of encouraging yourself. So do it now, and you'll start feeling better and better about yourself. And as you stop looking to form trauma bonds with other people, you won't be so vulnerable if they leave, if it doesn't work out. It's because what happens in that trauma bond, it feels like your self-worth is all tied up with that person and how they feel about you. So if you look at, well, I can get really deep here, but look at your relationship with, as you grew up as a child. As children, we look for those bonds because we want to be told good things, encouraged. We come onto the planet full of encouragement, but over time, people don't encourage us, or whatever you experienced as a child. We start realizing and start believing the negative things we don't get from people, the attention we don't get, and we keep looking to form those trauma bonds with everybody else as an adult. So it's just like a skill you develop. As you have a career, you've developed skills, you can do this. It's a mental skill. Developing strong mental skills to support and validate yourself regardless of who's in your life. And start realizing that that is a responsibility you have to yourself. You're probably a really kind person, probably really willing to encourage others. Why don't you also turn that encouragement to yourself and encourage yourself and work on yourself first? Because if you're having a hard time moving forward after a narcissistic relationship, it can be because that trauma bond, your self-worth, is all tied up in that past relationship. So if the relationship ended, you think, well, I must not be good enough. You feel like you don't have any self-worth because you misdirected maybe your self-worth and gave it to that other person, your partner. And now that partner's gone and you feel like they just walked all over your self-worth. Well, you can change that in an instant by reclaiming your self-worth. See yourself, imagine talking great to yourself about yourself. I did that great. And you can't do that enough right now. You need that more now than ever. Develop that skill of encouraging yourself. And when you do that, what happens is your self-esteem goes up, your confidence goes up, your self-belief goes up. And then anybody who's trying to chip that away, you'll see that red flag as this is an unhealthy, potential toxic person I need to get away from. They're chipping away at my self-worth, my self-esteem, my self-belief, because they're not really encouraging me like I would encourage myself. So you'll start pushing those people away, and that's how you stay out of these toxic relationships, because you'll see that this person is all about themselves and not about you. And you'll decide at some point, that's not acceptable because I am a good person. That's what you'll say to yourself. So keep telling yourself these good things, and you'll find that you feel better and better as you raise your confidence. If you want to fast track it, you can certainly do that. I help people with this a lot because it's tied in with everything that keeps us stuck. Anxiety, stress, low self-esteem, it's tied in there. So what we do is I can drop a comment if you want to know more about that, but I really want to encourage you to really be supportive of yourself, telling yourself good things, writing out 10 things you did amazingly well today. And don't hold the bar so high that it has to be perfect before it counts. No, You do great things every single day. Nothing is perfect except babies and puppies, and kittens. So just write out the good things that you do every day, 10 good things, and make a journal of it. And when you're feeling low and missing that past relationship, go back through that journal and start realizing that you're still a great person no matter who's in your life. And if they're moving on with somebody else and they look like they're happy, or they're telling you how happy they are, that's great. But they're no longer a part of my life or your life, so you just keep moving on. Being a good person, doing positive, healthy things. And, I think the best way to move forward is to invest in yourself and positive things, doing positive things to encourage yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself. All right? Chances are they're not that happy anyway. They're just using that to make you feel even more hurt because they know that trauma bond exists, or it did exist, and then your ex-partner telling you that they're so happy. It's a way to make you feel hurt, even more hurt. And it's just part of controlling you. But when you're indifferent to it, when you say, "Oh, that's great, I'm glad you're moving on, have a great life," that's like they realize, oh, they're not going to get that supply from you anymore. They're not going to get that, you're not going to disparage yourself for them. You're not going to accept that judgment and pain from them anymore. So I hope this helps somebody. Drop a comment, ask a question. I love answering questions. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching it on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and click the like button if you want to be notified every time I upload these types of videos. And I have loads more videos. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.